Now this is dark. I mean, this is my background for Dirty Deeds. It's kind of dark. Sure, some bright colors. Hi, I'm James Lott Jr. Let me go this way. That's the logo. This is GH Dirty Deeds. We're doing an audio and video presentation. Okay. How are you guys today? Happy 62 years, General Hospital. 62 years. That's older than me, believe it or not. I'll be 56. So it came out a few years before I was born. Um, and I watched the episode. I'll talk about that on another show. We will be here this Saturday. This Saturday. This Sunday, Frank and I will be here talking about General Hospital, the 62nd episode, annual episode, all that stuff. But I wanted to address something really quick about that came up a lot, actually, more than ever. But came up a lot on our last live show last Sunday for JHP Spotlight about people getting what's the word, being held accountable, characters being held accountable. And since this show is called GH Dirty Deeds, it's usually about the bad side of town. 62 years of villainous behavior, whether they're villains or good girls gone bad or anything in between. We've seen a lot of stuff over the years, right? And I wanted to give just a different perspective a little bit about this whole comeuppance. Are they really feeling it? I think somebody does something wrong. Because we're talking about Ava and Sunny mainly. And, Ava never pays for anything. She never got anything. Blah, 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 stuff. And a lot of fans really believe that. I'm sure there's some fans out there who are not fans of Ava. I get that and all stuff, but I'm a huge fan. I'll let you know I'm a huge fan of Ava. But there are a lot of people who aren't fans, and I get for them, they just feel like she's with everything, almost like Christina Field. I laugh about that. Gets away with everything and nothing, all this other stuff. But I say that's not true at all. And I put it in the context of a soap opera because on soaps, you want, characters, you need villains on the show. You need people to do villainous behavior, good girls, bad girls, all that on the show. So we were talking about that and going, well, I feel like characters, of course, let's just do this first. You have to suspend belief. This is not real life. I mean, on Bold and Beautiful, they pardoned a girl, killed two people. So I mean, to make for story. So you kind of have to put aside belief. Because I believe this is not real world. Because the show would be over, or those stars would be gone. But if you a good villain, you want to have a good run. And usually, when they write villains, they'll write villains into a corner, then you take them out, and that you're done. But there are some characters that still have a lot of mileage on them and have a fan base that likes them, like an Ava, or even a Sunny, or Carly, or Rick. At this point, on 62 years of soap opera, just about everyone has killed somebody, and or everyone has done something horrific, and or has cheated on their partner. And, like there's almost every person on the show has done something. They've done some prison stories, jail storylines. No one wants to see those. Let's get real. Nobody wants to see those. Sometimes you have to rest the character, put him away for a while, like Heather Weber, all that stuff. That's fine. Franco was a bad guy, and I loved him at the end. But see, here's the thing. I view it from a different lens. I'll bring up Ava, for instance. I'm sure we'll get lots of people disagree with you. That's fine. Because we're open. I don't censor comments or anything, so please come at me. That's fine. My thing is Ava has paid in many ways. She lost her daughter. She lost Kiki. Whether they were fighting or not, it's still her daughter is dead. At the hands of someone who was enamored with her. That's a type of payback, a type of pain she'll never forget. She doesn't have Avery full time. That's a pain in her ass, all the time, right? She has to kind of continually fight Sunny. Sorry, my eye. Continually fight Sunny on this issue. That's a pain on her side. Yes, she killed a couple people. But they all have. It's one of those things where you just kind of have to go, okay, you want to see some comeuppance, and I think soaps do that a little bit. Like they'll like do this to them, or like I said, some do get arrested, some lose relationships. I mean, there is the price to pay because I mean, all because all TV watchers want to see some kind of like, okay, you've done all these things, it's your turn to get it. And I think soaps do that for the most part, but there are things you can't. It's just hard. I try not to. We've all done stuff they should have done. So it's like, for the sake of story purposes, we have to kind of go, okay, well, Elizabeth's been bad. She's lied and cheated. 3 kids, three different daddies. Sam has had was a con artist when she came on. Connie was a con artist when she came on. Like, they all have pasts that aren't the most glorious, but the best part is seeing them how they live with this stuff on the brain. To me, that's like the number one thing, right? So I don't know, I'm just kind of like, okay, that's fine. I'm okay with them roaming the streets because I like the characters. Um, some characters are like Valentine came on as a cartoonish character that we thought killed Nicholas. Well, we love him now. Most of us do. We're okay with him. But that was character. But see, that character development allowed that to happen. Luke Spencer. Let's go back to like the original Luke Spencer. Luke. Raped Laura. He raped Laura, kids. They tried to label it as seduction, all that stuff. He raped her. About the ultimate dirty deed. But we grew to love him as an anti-hero. And I think that's what's important. Is that if he was just kicked off, he just paid for it in prison, then we wouldn't have Luke Spencer. It's almost like you have to kind of just put out the brain, go, okay, it's understandable to be like, this character gets my nerves. I need something to happen to them. But I think some things do happen to them that may not be equivalent. That's why he's on my street. Maybe equivalent to what you think the punishment may not fit the crime exactly, but sometimes there is punishment. Just look deeper, and there is punishment. Some of them are never happy. They can never have a relationship. That's the punishment. You've done these things, you will be eternally unhappy. I kind of get it. I mean, yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. So I just kind of want to invite people to look at it that way. If you don't, I don't know. I just think it's subs, it's TV. Bad characters need to be on shows. But yes, I understand. At some point, you want to see something like when you have a good girl goes through so much stuff, like Sasha. She went through so much. It was like, oh my God, what more can you put on this girl? Well, now she got some happy moments. So it did turn. There's still drama going on, but she had happy moments. And she had a baby, and I'm hoping to let her have this baby. Do not do anything to this baby. And that will be her win for losing Liam, losing Brando. Like, she'll finally have something good. Still sets up drama because Michael's the father, Jason's there, but at least also she'll love her baby. She'll have a baby finally. So I think that's the trade-off. I don't know. Please, I don't mind if you comment. Tell me what you think. You disagree with me, fine. That's fine. Disagree. But I think in terms of story, you kind of have to put aside, yes, Ava killed Connie. They still pick up in her face. That's still, they're not letting it go, which is fine. You should let that go. But you put Ava in prison, that doesn't really help us any. A lot of us like the character of Ava. It doesn't really, do anything. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. But really, congratulations, General Hospital, for 62 years of bringing us villains and villainy. We love you. And I'm James Lott Jr. James Spotlights is on Facebook. Talk to you next time.